Hi, I'm Lindsay from InfoSpark, and this video is going to look through our Enterprise PMO Turnkey offering that we've got. The Enterprise PMO Turnkey is actually available as three different tiers. So there is an essential, a professional, and an ultimate tier, each with an increasing amount of functionality and capability within it. As well as that, we will often, for customers, create custom packages with say, a bit from one tier and a bit from another tier, just to tap into exactly what's required. But in this video, we're going to be looking at effectively what would be the ultimate tier, just so that you can see all of the capabilities. But down here, we can see all of the different modules that would be available to someone on Ultimate. But no one that we've worked with has ever said, yes, I want all of those. Some of them actually either or, so you might have a meeting log or a meeting minutes. And it's just very rare for someone to need lots and lots of different things, just because project toolkits are made to be simple. And so normally we would see no more than around 7 different modules being used in a PMO toolkit. And I've got some separate videos that go through each of these modules separately, but today we're just going to have a high level look over the whole thing. And so what we're looking at here is a project dashboard. Every project that gets spun up would have one of these created. You can see there's some information about the project here, high level information, some key dates and metrics, and then some insights into task health, so what's going on in the project schedule itself, in the work breakdown structure, and what's happening in the risk register. Moving down, you can see that there is analysis of how are we spending money compared with how we budgeted or forecast that we would be spending money. What are the high level project milestones? What's happening over the next couple of weeks? And then we get into two of probably the more interesting modules. So we're looking at what updates has the project manager provided for the project, and what traffic light indications had been provided for the different metrics for the project, and what commentary had been provided. The reason we offer this is based on years of discussions and feedback with PMO managers and directors who'd said that they found it really helpful to have some accountability for the updates that project managers were providing, and they wanted to be able to see the historical updates that had been provided, so that there was less incentive for a project manager to say everything was going great and then just at the end of the budget saying, well, actually everything's poor. And so it kind of drives a culture of project managers indicating issues early rather than hiding them or hoping that things will just sort themselves out. So that's project manager updates. And then the latest engagement section at the bottom would be built so that you can, just for the modules that would be in the toolkit. So it would be, in reality, it would be a little less busy than this. But what it's doing is it's showing over the last 30 days how much work has been done in those various parts of the toolkit. So how many changes have been made to the schedule, to the financials, how many documents have been worked on, how many risks have been worked on. And that's particularly important to track adoption of Smartsheet in an organization, and maybe more specifically, track adoption of the toolkit itself within the organization. Are there parts of the toolkit that people are not getting into the habit of using? And so the feedback we've had is when someone comes into a dashboard and they say, the health is green, they're happy with this information here, there's not too many risks, they will then go down to the bottom of the dashboard and say, well, there's not too many high risks, but have people actually been logging risks in the first place? And so in this particular case, the fact that everything seems to be on time and we've got green lights might be more reliable. That's reliable information because we can see that the project manager has been in making a lot of changes to the schedule. It's not just been left alone and to look after itself. Now there's more that you can put on a dashboard. They're completely flexible. So you can see here, we can rearrange every single component of a dashboard. We can add new ones, build custom charts and insights based on your own requirements if that's something you'd like to have done. But this is a really good starting point. All right, next, what I'd like to show is the schedule, because that's something that every project toolkit will have, is that place where the work breakdown structure is located. You can see there's a traditional looking Gantt chart there that shows dependencies, and we can turn on a critical path so we can see the tasks in that critical path. And when you're wanting to look more at this data, you can turn that Gantt view off and just move to a grid view. And what you can see is there's some indicators here, and that just lets you know that there's something wrong with this row. There's a helpful little guide here to let you know which symbol means what. So in this case, we've got the schedule for this task is missing and there's no one assigned to the work. And sure enough, you can see that there is some information missing here. We did this because project manager shouldn't need to be painstakingly looking through each line, every column to try to find problems. It needs to be a lot easier to find. And so by having this system here, which can be filtered on, you can actually say, look, show me where I've got assignees missing, for example. It makes the project manager's job a lot easier. Otherwise, this is a pretty typical work breakdown structure and Gantt chart. There's the hierarchical work breakdown structure. You've got a status, the option of having an at-risk column so you can flag tasks that are at risk. You're assigning the schedule, building out predecessors, just as you may be familiar with. You can keep track of when a row is last modified, or you can hide that sort of information if that's not what you want to see. And there's an automated health traffic light for each task. Now, we've got some information here that explains what those traffic lights mean. As part of the tailoring process for an InfoSpark PMO Turnkey, you do have the option of changing this. So you can say, look, we would like to have some different business rules or criteria for what constitutes green health or red health. And likewise, you can say, look, we've got some different things that are important to us. So we want to have some different symbols that mean different things. So what we've got here is good for 90% of people, but if you're one of those 10%, then that's something that can be tailored in the platform in a fairly no-fuss way. So that's the schedule. Coming back to the dashboard, I'll not jump into all of these, but just explain probably our most popular modules would be the project manager status updates, which we talked about at the start of the video. Having a document register and some financials is very popular. And having a risk system is very, very popular. Most, even very large enterprises that we talk to will say they'll have one system that will have their project tasks, the work breakdown structure, the schedule itself, and then risks will often be managed out of a spreadsheet, as would things like finances and other parts of the project. It just gets run in Excel sheets. There's no real visibility of it at a portfolio level without manual reporting. And so what Smartsheet opens up is the option of saying, okay, you can have an Excel-like interface so that it's a very familiar process to manage it out of Smartsheet. But this information here, the key statistics about it, will be rolled up and made available at a portfolio level, which is pretty cool. So let's look at what that would look like. So I'll head over to the portfolio dashboard. So portfolio dashboard is going to have all of your active projects in it. So you can see here there's some more key statistics about the amount of work that's coming into the pipeline, as well as what the portfolio is looking like at the moment, value of deals, number of projects, that sort of thing. We can have a look at the health of the timeline. We can have a look at every project and how much progress has been made. That's what you can see in the dark purple, and how much of the budget has been spent in the light purple. Similar to what I've described in the other parts of Smartsheet that I was showing, This is a good starting point, and for a lot of organizations, they're happy to just take this portfolio dashboard design as it is, but you might find that your needs are either quite different or a little bit different. There's the need to change this, and that's certainly possible. So we can change the calculations that are used to display statistics. We can change what the statistics are, how it gets visualized, all sorts of things. Further down, we can get some high-level information about all these projects and when they're expected to be completed or when they're expected to be commencing. We can get a high-level view of all of the risks through the portfolio, and a high-level view of what the latest updates have been for all those projects. So a really great place to come in and see whether there's any projects currently running that need a little bit more attention. So this is showing all projects. We often will be asked to show maybe just projects related to a particular strategy within the organization or being delivered by a particular department. That's absolutely possible too. So in a fairly cost-effective way, we can build versions of this sort of dashboard with just a subset of the projects in there. We call those program dashboards, so it can be used in a lot of different ways. Finally, through every project space, as well as having a project dashboard and a bunch of different sheets in Smartsheet to actually manage the project, there'd be a lot of reports. And those reports in the project space can be limited to just showing information from the one project. But of course, you're also going to want to do that at a portfolio view at times. Say, and a common one for that might be show me all the logged issues for all my projects, or all of the high risks for all my projects, or show me all of the items in the schedule that are assigned to me. And so it can, a Smartsheet can say, all right, here's all the projects that you're assigned to and what tasks are assigned to you. And one of the things that's particularly cool about reports in Smartsheet is even if it's collecting information from hundreds of different sheets and bringing it into that one report, you do have the ability to come in and update those reports and save the report, which will save the information directly back into the underlying report where that information was sourced from. So it's a huge time saver for people that are involved in lots of projects to be able to bring up a portfolio level report that's tailored just to them, make a bunch of changes to allow all the different project managers involved to get an update on their own progress, and do that all from one screen. Huge time saver. Okay, so that's the turnkey. We will, when we're delivering these turnkeys, probably about half the time, we'll also combine that with some integration. So we'll bring in the financial information, so that doesn't have to be done manually by a project manager. Or we can do that, we can do the same sort of thing with timesheet data, so that we can be very aware of how much time is being spent by different people on each project. Once again, that's something that a project manager might have had to do manually before. So we're saving a lot of their time in bringing data from other systems and in fact pushing data out to other systems. So we can also do things like, say, if we've seen a new project's being created, we'll automatically go out to the finance system and the timesheet system and create that project in those other systems as well. Once again, it's all about saving time and ensuring complete accuracy in the information that's being pushed around between systems. Of course, if you've got any other questions, there's something you haven't seen, we're always happy to provide a customized demo or have a chat with you. So don't hesitate to get in touch.